Thank you for tuning in. Hunting season is right around the corner, and I want to talk to you about a type of hunting that I find highly beneficial, and that's hunting from a ground blind. If you look behind me, I've got one of my ground blinds set up, and it's set up similar to the way I deploy them when I hunt. I like to find a brushy area near a tree, near a bush or something, trim it in a little bit and kind of slide it into the ball spot that I make. Therefore, the animals are a little less skittish when they see them. It's a great way to hunt. For those of you just getting into it, doesn't have to spend a lot of money to get where you want to be with that. Somewhere between 80 bucks and 200, you should be able to find one that fits your hunting need. There are some people like to put a canvas down so it has a false bottom to it. That's beneficial in keeping noise down when you're moving around in that blind. But I like to use the hunting blinds, ground blinds, when I'm hunting for extreme hours. If I'm going to do an all-day hunt, what I'll typically do is set that thing in place prior to going to it. If it's turkey, I might put it out the night before. If it's deer, I try to have it up and in place for about a week before I actually hunt it. The only conditions that I'm really worried about is the wind direction. You want the wind coming toward you, blowing your scent back toward the back of the blind or off to the left or the right. If your focal area is out in front and the wind shift, you might want to think about getting out, maybe picking up that hunt another day and moving to something else. But these blinds have a technique. What I like to do is open as little or as small a space in the window as possible. And I sit all the way back and I wear a black or a dark upper like I'm doing right now. When you do that, what you're able to do is sit back and not, one, silhouette yourself from side windows, and two, if you're wearing dark, anything looking back can only see what looks like holes or a small hole in the side of a blind or a shadow in a bush. That's what makes it highly effective. I've even had times when I decided I was going to hunt all day at a location, and the night before I take in my Arctic cooler and place it. I've got my food. I have my provisions for when nature calls, everything right there in the blind. And you have a tendency to just get in and it settle down, and that way you're not scaring off your wild game when you walk into it in the morning or in the middle of the day. You're there all day. And you know, sometimes with the animal patterns, you'll find that activity is heavy in the morning, then there's a break, then there's a midday pickup, there may be another break. Take a book with you, take your iPad with you. If you want to do something else while you're sitting there waiting on things to pick up, then you have it. Another good thing about it, you've got a roof over your head. If it starts to rain, it's not that difficult to finish your hunt. You can do it in comfort when you're sitting in that little, what I call a little mini tent. To the ground blind industry, I will say to you all, to the manufacturers, please put pegs, tent pegs in there that are actually functional. I find myself, every one I've ever bought, I take the pegs, the tie downs that come with them, throw them away. I get me some heavy duty tent pegs and put in. You tack them down real good. The tie downs on the side, you tie them down. It is very frustrating if you don't. You deploy a ground blind the night before or a couple of days before, and you go to it to hunt, and there's been a windstorm, and you go to the spot where your blind was supposed to be, and it's gone. So tie them down, and a lot of them will withstand some pretty high winds. So if you tie it down correctly, you don't have that to worry about. The last thing I will tell you about hunting from a ground blind is get a comfortable seat. I'm going to show you at the end of the video my seat. It has adjustable legs. That way, if you're sitting on the side of a hill, you can level it off, and it reduces your likelihood of having back pain when you're leveled off and you're sitting at that level position. My seat has a silent swivel on it. So once I'm sitting in the back, I can tilt, I can pan and tilt however I need to toward the areas that I'm looking into. So put that in your hunting arsenal. I hope something I told you helped you out a little bit. And like I say, you can't always find that tree to put a a climber on. You can't always have that location where the permanent stands are erect. You know, use these portable ground blinds, and they will help increase your chances of having a successful hunt. Thank you. Heavy duty tent pegs. Adjustable legs, wide, no armrest, silent swivel.